We're always supportive. We're at every meet, but we'd missed the signs of the pain and the experience that he was going through, and the pressure that we were putting on him, to perform, get great grades, swim faster. You're going to go to the Olympics. You're going to do all these things. And we were in the hospital crying and in shock.
Hello. Welcome to Love and Relationships with myself, Tiphany R Butler and Friends on WYCA Rejoice 102.3, home of Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell and our boy Griff and Lady TJ. Welcome to Chicago, Miss Kelli.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. Let me tell everybody, Kelli Richardson Lawson, who's here with us today, is literally the person to know. She's the person in the room. Okay. Kelli is, oh my gosh, so many different gifts that she has. She has led multiple divisions of BET, led events related elements to like all of the major projects like, what is the BET Awards, the Hip Hop Awards?
Back in the day, yes.
Back in the day, yes. The celebration of gospel, BET honors. Kelli has definitely, she's the CEO and founder of, is it Joy Collective?
Joy Collective, yes.
Yes, and so you help develop different brands for different unique ideas for Dove and OWN and BET. Yes. Axe and Prudential. I mean, the list
all kinds of amazing brands. It's about purpose-driven marketing and trying to create initiatives that help change people's lives, like the Crown Act. One of the things we worked on to help with hair discrimination. But yes, that legislation went through. That is perfect. Thank you for doing that too. We have a lot of little girls who, feel some kind of way in school about their hair. Right. Definitely. You also were part of creating the HIV/AIDS program, Wrap It Up. Yes,
right?
Ma'am.
Yes.
So that's so wild. So back when I was at BET, I started there in the late 90s, coming out of my career at Procter & Gamble. And yes, one of the biggest issues at that time with our community and the Black community was HIV and AIDS. Still is. It was a huge issue, and there was so much stigma around the issue at the time. So Wrap It Up was BET's initiative to really help people wrap it up, like have safe sex and not have any stigma around any of that. So yeah, I'm proud of that work that won BET its first Emmy Award back then.
Yes, that was major. I mean, everybody remembers that. That was very effective. You did the BET Foundation as well, didn't you?
Yes, so that was 2000. You have read my bio from way back. Yes, but yes, the BET Foundation was founded to help Black women in the area of obesity and overweight, and just helping us learn to live healthier lives. We got a grant from, I want to say, the General Mills Foundation back then. But it was 2003, and we created, a healthy summer camp for girls and all kinds of initiatives just to help with holistic wellness and living healther. It's called
so that's basically, your work has basically been in that area of wellness and improving, the community, all communities really, but especially the Black community. And we appreciate that about you. We really do. What did you do the BET's first ever Emmy Award?
Yeah, so that Emmy Award was won actually for the Wrap It Up campaign. And so, oftentimes, doing work that helps change people's lives is what really matters. And that's what that Emmy Award was for. That was for the Wrap It Up campaign.
Well, that's great. Everybody should know she's gotten the NAACP Image Awards. I mean, Kelli, rightfully so. rightfully so. But today we wanted to talk about your podcast, the SonRise Project. And it's son, you all like SON, like son, daughter, but SonRise Project, Kelli, you created along, well, I think with your husband, but you... Yes, you created this, an online space for parents to talk about mental wellness with their children and or addiction as well. And now you've collaborated with OWN Network podcasts. So tell us about that, because I know we were watching, Joteka was on the show recently. And I remember she asked you on Speak Sis about your journey and how you're helping so many people in a big way. Can you share that with our listeners?
Yes. So first of all, such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And I am so grateful to the Oprah Winfrey Network and to this opportunity to share my journey and to help other parents like myself. And it all started with, I have two beautiful sons, gorgeous, smart, talented, beautiful children. And we started this journey a few years ago with our eldest, where, was doing great at everything, seemingly so. And we didn't see some of the signs that we probably should have seen in certain areas. And so, we ended up one night in the hospital. We're going, what in the world has happened here with a suicide attempt? And we were speechless, shocked, because we thought we were doing what, all things right, quite honestly. Right. And typical Black parents, very strict, very much focused on staying safe. Two Black boys, sons, very all young men. And with what's happening in our world, I'll speak for myself. I was very fearful of what could happen to my Black children, walking out the house every day, and wanting them just to come home safely, right? And so leading and parenting out of fear is not the way to go. I have learned that over the last few years, really leading with faith, leading with love and compassion and acceptance and listening, really learning to listen. I've learned all of this over the past few years with the SonRise Project. But to go back to the story, so yes, we're in the hospital that night. And thank God he was unsuccessful. And so that started our journey of what's really going on here? And how did this happen? What did we miss? And I realized at another time, in another place, at another facility that we were at, I looked around the room and I felt so alone. I felt like, oh my goodness, how am I here? What did I do wrong? There was a lot of guilt. There was a lot of shame. There was hurt. There were all kinds of feelings, and I felt alone. And in that moment, this was a couple of years ago, I realized we need a space, we need a place like this room where I'm sitting, but with other Black parents that can understand what we're going through, my husband and myself, and can also just talk to one another and share in a space without anybody. There's no judgment zone, but other Black parents that know what it feels like to have Black sons and Black daughters out here in this world that is not designed to love us. And so I started thinking about, we need something like this. And so the SonRise Project was born out of a need for Black parents to have a safe space to share and to learn and to listen and to love one another and to know that we're not alone, because we all have something. We all have something that we may not be comfortable sharing out loud, but by being vulnerable and by being willing to share and willing to express our vulnerabilities, our hurts, our pains, that's how we learn and that's how we heal.
That's right.
That's a long-winded answer about the SonRise Project, but I'm so grateful. I started it with my husband and with my son's permission. We talked to him about it, and we all agreed that we thought we could help other people. And I never imagined that Oprah Winfrey and the Oprah Winfrey Network of podcasts would come and say, hey, we love what you're doing. Would you be interested in sharing the story with the world? And it's like, yes, of course. So that's a long answer, but that is the answer. That's how it was born, why it was born. And I have such gratitude for the opportunity to share this journey with more people, to ultimately help people.
Yeah, ultimately it will, because so many people are struggling with it in silence.
Yes.
And they don't know that there's others out there that they can talk about it. And sometimes they don't even talk about it within their families.
That's right.
You know,
there's such a stigma in our community with mental illness or mental wellness. I call it. I prefer to change the I to E. But at the end of the day, there's such stigma in our community. No one talks about it. And most of us have something, whether it's ADD, ADHD, bipolar, anything. And there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I totally agree. And I know you had Spirit on the show the other day, and she was up at the Capitol with Taraji P. Henson lobbying to change the whole outlook of what mental wellness is. And, so I really commend you for having her on your show too. And,
so first of all, let me just pause on that. Spirit's amazing. I met her that weekend that she was in town. And we happened to be at the same event, but just everybody that's been on has been amazing. But I've been grateful that people like Spirit and many others said yes. When we make the call, they'll say yes and come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you approach people with this, and even those who listen to it, you can feel the spirit that guides you to say, you know what, I need to get involved with this. We need to help spread this word, because I do believe it's a spiritual thing, as well.
Absolutely.
It's a spiritual thing. God says, 2 Timothy 1:7, he hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, So when our minds are not sound, we know that that's not God. And since we're made in his image and his likeness, then we know it's not us too. So it must be a spirit trying to use us. And we just rebuke it in the name of Jesus and keep it moving, But talking about it is great. I really commend you. I want to tell you that, whether you believe this or not, sometimes we don't feel prepared for things that God brings us, but he never gives us anything we're not prepared for.
Right.
And clearly he trusts you with this. He trusts you with this. He knew that you could speak this and he could use you to reach people in the world. And look what happened. Now you're in collaboration with Own Network Podcasts. It's on all the major podcasts from Apple to Pandora. I listen to it on my Pandora,
awesome.
Spotify. So it's going to reach the world. It's going to change the conversation. It is going to be effective. And I want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for being obedient to your spirit. Tell everybody. I don't want to keep you. I
love that. That just really touched my soul. So thank you for saying that. I really, I'm a waterhead, so I'm not going to cry, but I will say I believe that this is my divine purpose. I've done a lot of things, but this is most important to me.
Yes.
And healing myself that was Spirit's topic. The healing starts with ourselves and giving ourselves grace and forgiving ourselves. And walking in the purpose that God has destined for us or designed for us. I so appreciate what you just said. It really touched my soul. And I'm very grateful that I was chosen. To have this son with this beautiful mind. He has a beautiful mind. It's a different mind than I would have imagined. My journey is very different than I would have imagined, but what a blessing to be able to have God's gifts bestowed upon us so that I can share what I've learned with other people. So I just really appreciate what you just said. Thank you for that.
No problem. To God be the glory. Do you think that your son would ever maybe go on the podcast and talk? Because I think maybe I have a 10-year-old, so I really try to stay in tune with, her conversations that she had with her girlfriends. I try to listen and not say too much, right? So she can still feel comfortable. But I know a lot of things are affecting our kids, YouTube and even the cartoons. I mean, we had Tom and Jerry when we were growing up, and that was very violent, But even now they have all these love stories and they have different things that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if your son will ever, feel like that maybe he wants to express something on the podcast. I will be tuning in to continue to possibly hear that too.
Yes, well, he has agreed to come on at some point. So I'm hoping that he will. Hopefully sometime this year. That's my hope. He's doing great, and he's living in Atlanta right now. And focusing on his journey. So I appreciate that too. I'm grateful that he's here with us.
Yes.
And I hope that he will show up one Sunday morning.
He's going to be just fine, both of your boys.
Absolutely.
So thank you for so much. Let everyone know how they can follow you and how we can keep in touch.
Okay. Well, you can learn about the SonRise Project or listen to the episodes anywhere podcasts can be found. And you can also go to the sonriseproject.com, where you'll get a link to OWN's network of podcasts, the Oprah Winfrey Network's podcast series. And that's where the podcasts are living right there.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, Kelli, thank you for joining Love and Relationships. And you have a home with us. So anytime you want to share anything, let us know.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.